Hi everyone and welcome back to another video with me Shruti Vashist. You're watching Ascension 1111. So in this video today I want to speak to you about advanced ascension symptoms, and I've already made a video about ascension symptoms really long ago, about I don't know 6-7 years ago or something. So I will link it up here and you can check it out if you would like to watch it, which explains all the basic ascension symptoms that we go through and advanced ones. But today I really want to focus on a few advanced ascension symptoms, and if you're going through these, then you know that perhaps you're going through the upper stages, or at least that light is coming in, you know, the upper stages of ascension that's trying to merge with the body. So what are these symptoms? I'm going to speak about them today. I'm going to explain them a little bit, and let me know in the comments below if you're experiencing any of them as well. So before I get into the video, please subscribe to this channel if you're new here. Give this video a thumbs up. That's how I know what kind of videos you would like to watch from me. And check out my personal services and my self-study online courses. The links will all be below this video. And really, all of my services and my courses take you in depth into your ascension, into embodying your ascension, whether that's through your relationships, whether that is through enhancing your intuition, whether that is through basically embodying the 5th dimensional vibration, which is a course as well on my website. So check out all of them below this video. So now let's get into the points, and I'm sorry if you're hearing a little bit of construction noise. That's just how it is. I can't really avoid that. But the first symptom that I have today for you is cranium expansion. So you might feel like your head is becoming enlarged and it's not really a physical enlargement. It feels almost like the physical sensation of it, or the energetic rather sensation of it, which almost feels physical, because you know, these are higher ascension symptoms. So this is usually when the 5th dimensional light has already merged with our body, or is beginning to merge, like we're well into our 5th dimensional embodiment, even if it hasn't fully occurred. But the cranium expansion usually happens after this level, and that is when it feels like the nerves that are inside our head, the nerves, I guess, they're expanding, and it feels like a very palpable physical sensation. Of course, it's not really physical, it's happening at an energetic level, and it's like a DNA change that is happening within you. And I haven't really heard people talk about it. I don't watch a lot of ascension videos. Actually, I don't watch any. But these are, for all of the ascension symptoms, I'm going to explain to you how I experience them and what I feel that they mean and what they have meant to me, basically. And it can vary from individual to individual, but I do feel that there is also a general, there's this general theme that all of us go through. So with cranium expansion, the head starts to hurt because it feels almost like, you know, when you go to the dentist and before that there's like this your nerves hurt, you know. But it's different though, because it's energetic and you can feel the difference, the subtle difference that's there. So these are DNA changes that are happening within you, especially changes in your intelligence, your divine intelligence. They have to do with let's say, you know, channeling, and you're able to after this channel new information or channel in a new way. And it's not just channeling, because this is related to the higher ascension levels, right? So it's related to the higher mind, it's related to the mind of God realms, basically, and we are coming straight from there. So it's not exactly channeling at that level, although it is, if you look at it in one way, where information is coming in, but also you have become one with it. So it's not as if you are here and, you know, something is coming in, like light is coming in and filling you with information, and then you give that information. It's almost like you become it. It's like the seamless flow, because you are merged with that. So when that needs to expand or needs to move in a new way, it wants to create new pathways through your physical body, divine intelligence, then the cranium expansion happens. So this is how I've experienced it through different cycles of coming into my ascension. Okay, so the next point that I have for you is it's kind of like when you are having these initiations of the earth star chakra. And it kind of like, the way I can describe it is that it feels like you become a black hole. You know, like the color black, it sucks in light. Like if you wear black clothes, for example, it you feel hotter because it absorbs more sunlight, or it absorbs more light. So it's a magnet for light, essentially. So when we are going through this ascension symptom, we feel like we have become a black hole. And this is basically, it relates to from below our base chakra. So the earth star chakra lies almost, you can say, inside the ground. So it's beneath your feet, and it's your connection to the earth, how you were born within these realms. And I would say not even how you were born into the earth, but how you came into this universe, how you came into these worlds of existence that are on the outer skirts of creation, like the blackness, where there's these ascended light realms, the more angelic realms above level 7, and below level 7 are the realms of creation. So those I would say that when we are birthed into that, from the light into the more darker, darker doesn't mean bad, it just means empty space where you can co-create. You're here to create as the light. So when you are birthed into that, so it's kind of like the connection, the portal of that. But because we are embodied here on earth, so we feel it like a chakra that is below inside the earth, like the core of the earth, the mantle of the earth or something, and we feel like we are merged with that, almost like our root is part of that. And it's very difficult to describe these merges, but that's the best way I can explain it. And beyond just merging with the earth, you feel like you are the goddess, which I'll just explain in a second. But so it's the goddess, right? If you think of the goddess and God, when they make love, the goddess being the feminine aspect, the goddess again draws in the light, draws in God, and then that's the how they merge and sort of make love, you can say, in a way, right? So we feel like we are the goddess, and not just like one goddess, like me, Shruti, or my higher self as the goddess. It's the goddess. So we are merged with that element, and it's like we have allowed ourselves to be open and become filled in by the goddess, and then we draw in light, and we draw in God consciousness, and goddess flows through us in the way that it wants on the earth. So this is not, so of course magnetism and being able to suck things in, being able to draw things in, this is very, very powerful. And it's the goddess's quality, the feminine quality, when we are super powerful and we can draw and manifest anything that we want, really. And usually doesn't mean that we'll manifest like a lot of money or whatever, unless that is our desire. Usually when we are at this level, we draw in what we need. It's more about what is needed for my service. It's a very humble sort of a state to live in. So you don't take more than you need. You only take whatever is required for the mission right now. However, this is way beyond that. Although you would be manifesting that, and although you would be sucking that in and drawing it to you, and it's almost immediate, what really is happening is that goddess is flowing through you to bring something on the earth. So it's beyond just you. Let me see what I've written. So the goddess, as you, is calling in the light, is calling in God consciousness, and what's needed, not just you, but for the planet, for this universe, for creation. So how, people think that how does people sort of separate too much, like this is an atom, this is a plant, this is a human being. But at our core level, we are all atoms, right? Like we all have that same we are all made up of the same element, like the air. I know that the qualities, the physical qualities differ, like the chemical composition differs, which is why our physical reality differs, etc. But at the core of it, because everything comes from source, right? So at the core of it, we are made of the same. If you think of an atom, just because that's what our brains understand, or you think of the God seed, whatever you want to think of it as, that core element, everything is made up of that. So so you basically also being made of those elements, your body becomes what is needed for the planet, and through that, whatever you're vibrating as, you bring that onto the earth. This is more than just channeling light. It's straight, it's a direct connection to source. So because these are the higher ascension symptoms, this is when we are directly plugged into source. Okay, so I hope that was clear. It's like God and Goddess are making love through you, you know, in your own body, and through that creation happens. So new creation happens on the earth, whatever is needed for service, for the highest, for humanity and all of life, basically. Then I only have 4 for you today, the main ones, and the third one now is Christ light fluid movement. So some of you may have experienced the Christ light, and this is so you know our anyway, I don't want to get into the other ascension symptoms because I'll perhaps make another video about it. Let me know if you want a video like a refresher on ascension symptoms, because I made one really long ago, and I know that there's new people that go through their awakening and they want to know. So let me know in the comments below if you would like just a general list and a general explanation of what ascension symptoms are, and for me to explain, just, you know, to know if you are going through them and what they mean. But one of the higher ascension symptoms is also when the Christ light starts to move through us. It starts to blend with our body. And this happens usually only after the 5th dimensional embodiment, or after we are well into merging with the 5th, at the 5th dimensional level, because that's when the higher heart opens up. And once that opens up, we become a portal for higher light as well. That's the first portal, the first main portal. And our body starts to merge with this Christ light that is, you can say, golden white sometimes, if you know. I won't explain the differences right now, but basically it feels like fluid light. Like you are made of neither fluid. I mean, you have water inside of you, but it's like you're not really fluid. You're not made of fluid, the human body. That's not the main thing when you think of a human being. So however, it feels like you don't have the skin or these bones or anything. It feels like you are liquid and light at the same time. You're this liquid light, this new substance that you don't know what it is. Like, is it plasma? What is it? Like, it's this weird feeling in the body, but of course this beautiful joyous feeling in the body. But at the same time, it's almost like you're in water. You know, like when we go swimming and we're in water and there's that feeling of just being afloat and things moving like this. You're absolutely still as the physical human, but inside of you, that's how it feels. So that's the best way I can describe it. So that's Christ light, when Christ light starts to merge with the body. It feels like liquid light. It feels very golden, for lack of a better explanation. Okay, so then moving on, the last and 4th point is that you become like another ascension symptom is you becoming a divine balancer. That's just a term that I'm using for now, and it feels like you are balancing what's happening on the planet. You see, for example, when you are balancing what's happening on the planet, and especially when you have embodied the higher levels of ascension, you will be plugged directly into the core of the darkness, the darkest possible things that can happen on this planet, in this universe, anywhere really. And you will also be plugged in directly to source. So you are constantly balancing both. You're constantly allowing what level of darkness can play out on the planet and what level of light comes in. So it's like, you know, when everybody here has free will. And so when different beings are carrying out whatever they are here to carry out, or whatever they are choosing, whether it's of the light, not of the light, there are certain things that are allowed by source. It's allowed for it to go negative, quote unquote, to a certain level, or imbalance is allowed to a certain level, and discord is allowed at a certain level, and a certain thing is not allowed. Let's say world wars are not allowed, you know, as an example, because that would lead to the destruction of the planet, and that's not on the agenda. So, however, a certain level of darkness needs to play out for the light to also emerge, because when we go through, even as a collective, a certain level of darkness, and when we have to face it, that's when we can also rise the fastest, when bigger changes can happen. So it's really about what is allowed and what is not. And the human, because they have embodied their Christ self, so they become this divine balancer. And Christ self, Buddha self, doesn't matter. I'm not a Christian or anything. It's just a level of being in the body, a level of our ascension, and this is one way to address it really. So the core of the darkness hits at first usually when there's new light landing, and you will feel the darkest of the dark forces, working, because you hold that level of purity and power. So anything that goes on, it doesn't go past you. Like you know what's happening, even though you might not know the physical details of what's about to occur, but it's like inside of you, because you are plugged in directly to the grid of the earth, the crystalline grid of the earth, and through that, the cosmic heart as well, which is the, you can say, source realms, basically the Holy Spirit realms, and everything that comes from those realms directly plugs into the diamond, the crystalline grid of the earth, and creates the new earth, creates these new energies. So nothing goes past you, because you are the grid of this planet. You're the foundation. That's what you've become when you have ascended in form. So the core of darkness hits at first usually, because when new light on something new, a higher level, wants to land on earth, first, the shit comes out. So the core of darkness hits, you balance yourself within that. So even if there's some disease on the planet, like we had a few years ago, still going on, you are the one that stays more balanced. Of course, you'll go through your ups and downs as a human. You're a human as well. But when you center and you remember yourself as the I am presence, as the Christ that you are, as source in, your God self, essentially, and you balance yourself within that, then what you're actually doing is not healing yourself. You only go through these ups and downs because they're in the collective. So there's no need after the fifth dimensional awakening for you to keep going through healing karma, etc. That doesn't exist for you. The ups and downs that happen in your emotions and even your personal life, anything that goes on, collective reality that's also affecting you, it's about service. It's about the fact that the collective feels it and that you are here in service. So you're going through it, and initially it hits you. You might get a little off balance, but then you balance yourself. So that's what you're doing. You feel it, you find the quality of it, your body registers that, and then it balances itself. And you hold grace within it because of this balance. And things change in you. You tell yourself, no, it's fine. I remember what I am. All is well, etc. Whatever it is you're telling yourself. And that vibration lands in the collective. It becomes available for those people who also want it, who desire it, who are willing to change. It becomes more readily available, that hope, that vibration of embodying peace and love, divine love, light. You see, this is how we help each other, we affect each other, and all of us rise together. And another thing that I want to say is that because we don't always realize this, but when we're doing this, when we're being the divine balancer, we actually, through holding grace, through holding balance, we can influence the weather of the planet. We can influence world events even. And yes, this may not be just one individual, like just me doing that by myself, but there's a few awakened people, the few that are awakening now, whatever percentage it is, 1%, 2%, whatever they say, I don't know. But especially those that hold the higher levels in their ascension, this will be most present. The most of the work will be done through them. And of course, there's large numbers of people who are going through little awakenings, and that also counts. But right now, because we're talking about the advanced ascension symptoms, so I'm saying that even one person can influence what 5,000 many more people will do by going through those little changes within themselves, versus one person who embodies their Christ, basically. So they can influence the weather, and even world events are affected through this peace, this knowingness that I hold, that I'm not dying, and it's not tragedy, and all of the world is not chaos. And that is why more peace, more balance is available, and things balance out even at the world level faster. They happen for the highest good of all. And then you also affect the rise in consciousness in other awakened people. Like I explained to you before, when you choose something, when you choose balance, and you choose grace, then, and you choose love, then this sense of hope and the fact that all is well, this vibration of all is well, I am source, all is within divine order, that vibration becomes available to other people faster when they're going through their awakening, and it becomes a little bit easier for them to ground it and to become one with it than perhaps it was for those souls that went first, who went through their ascension process first. So that is really what you do. And I want you to remember that, because people keep thinking that, oh, I have so much karma to heal, I have to balance this, balance that. And it's not just about you, it's about the fact that you are in service. Just remember yourself as grace, remember yourself as God moving through the world. You are a spark of God, we all are. But the ones that really remember, when you can remember that in those moments that test you, you really cause such an impact, and basically change the grid of the planet. You're directly bringing source consciousness here. So through you, the God and Goddess meet in you. When you hold these vibrations, the will of God moves through you. Whatever God wills for the planet, for this universe, that moves through you, that occurs through you. It's because it's like God is present on this planet through you. Of course, God is present on this planet through every human, but because they don't know themselves fully as God yet, so they can't channel it at the same level, they can't affect as much. But a human that has embodied their Christ consciousness, their Buddha consciousness, they really can impact this way, in silent ways, in invisible ways that nobody else will even know about. Okay, so the dark forces, because they always do a lot, they can do whatever they want, but you regulate as the divine balancer how much of what comes in, how much of light comes in, how much darkness is allowed to play out, and when it's time for more balance. All of that just flows through you. You're not even choosing it yourself. It's like God is directing it, has a thought, and you're plugged into the divine mind and the cosmic heart, and you just become a certain vibration. And whatever you claim within yourself, for your own self, for your service at a personal level, becomes a vibration for the collective. I hope this makes sense, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if this video helped to bring you a higher perspective, and if you're feeling that higher vibration, what else you would like to watch from me. Just let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and bye.